This pandemic has exposed and exacerbated many injustices and inequalities in the society. But today, dear friends, I'm afraid to say that if we don't act with the resolve and urgency, if we don't feel some sense of moral accountability and responsibility, then we will fail our children again, and we will fail our future again. We have seen what has happened with Millennium Development Goals. Do you want to see the same fate of the Sustainable Development Goals? I'm sure no. Because Sustainable Development Goals are in danger. Not just because of pandemic, but because of so many other reasons. I will give you one example that in the first 4 years of SDGs announcement between 2016 and 2020, the number of child laborers has increased for the first time in 2 decades from 152 million to 160 million. There is no excuse, no justification for it, because it has happened before pandemic. And the pandemic has brought even worse news, that if we don't act, then 9 million additional children would be added to this vicious circle of poverty and exploitation, miseries. And if we are not able to take prompt measures to ensure social protection, then according to United Nations agencies, the bigger danger is that 46 million additional children may be pushed into child labor, slavery, trafficking, prostitution. We cannot allow this to happen, dear friends. Because SDGs have a beauty in it. It is a beautiful diffuse of development, human rights, and climate responsibility, climate justice. This was not the case in MDGs. We also understand that SDGs are standing on 4 pillars: people, planet, prosperity, and peace. They are all knitted together. That makes a chair you are sitting on. And that makes a chair for the future of humankind. So we cannot afford to lose this. If we don't act now, then 24 million additional children will not be able to come back to school. There were already about 60 million children out of the schools, but 24 million children would be added to it. Why this is happening? Perhaps we have not brought the issues of children. Perhaps we have not given enough attention and justice to the most marginalized people in the world. As you know, that $8 trillion have been earmarked in the developed countries, industrialized world, as the COVID response fund. But is it not the shame that only 0.13% of it, 0.13%, not even 0.5%, were earmarked for the marginalized people, including children in the world? How can we think of an inclusive world? How can we think of the world without injustice, an equitable world? We have to think and act. But keep on blaming the government would not solve the problem. As I said at the outset, that each one of us has a responsibility and each one of us has some power to act. I've read and heard about